Welcome back to IGN Live at E3 2016. I'm Brian Altano. With me is Daniel from Treehouse.
Yes.
You brought us a game, the only game that could have possibly made me and a fully adult grown man cry tears of joy at E3 2016. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
You're dressed for it.
Yeah, I brought my scarf, my Zelda scarf. It's been awesome. Got this at the store in New York. I'm really happy with it.
So today we're going to talk about story stuff.
Yes.
I think we saw some gameplay. We had the gameplay on the live show yesterday. You should go check that out. But the story, I think, is incredibly intriguing in Zelda games. But specifically this one, because we got that little tidbit that this takes place 100 years after Link's been sleeping.
Yeah, you don't. Link has been sleeping for 100 years. You right now are here. This is the very beginning of the game. You essentially just wake up. There's a voice, actually. So it's a voiceover right now. Someone is actually speaking. You don't know whose voice this is.
We do we not know who
We
this
do
voice?
not know whose voice it is.
Is
A
it Zelda?
mysterious voice. It is a mysterious voice. Mr. Arnuma has not given us any tips on what that is yet. I'm sure people will be speculating like crazy, and we'll have to wait and discover what that's going to be.
How does he not, like, completely wrinkled right now? Because, like, if you take a bath for 20 minutes,
Well,
you
it
come
might
in-
not be water. It could be some other kind of special Hyrulean
So we do a mysterious voice and a mysterious liquid.
mysterious liquid.
This is what we know so far.
And waking up right now, and here you are. And now you have the mysterious Sheikah Slate that
Right.
appears right here in front of you. This is an important tool you'll have to use that is how you're able to open certain doors, use access runes, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yep.
And even as a map, and even just scan different enemies as well to how to mark them and how much energy they have. So you kind of go through that.
So this is kind of like his tablet, right?
It's a Sheikah Slate.
It's a Sheikah Slate, yeah.
I got to stick with the terms. I gotta stick with the terms
It's
best
not
I
an
can.
iPad. It's a Sheikah Slate. They won't put out a new one every year.
They won't.
And so the interesting thing about this game is that you start as Link.
Yeah.
We're calling him Link, right?
Yes, his name is Link. This is Link. The voice does call you out as Link.
Okay, and it is a him.
Yes.
Yes, we do know that. That's a few things we can confirm here.
And he has no clothes on. He hurt his foot.
So, I mean, immediately when we saw this game, we realized that he wasn't wearing his sort of classic tunic, but that could obviously come into play later on because there are a lot of different clothing options in this game.
Yeah, no. Even in the trailer, you saw the trailer. At some point, you saw him with armor or some kind of armor on, and that's part of the joy of just discovering all these different things that Link will be able to equip himself with. That's a really important thing that Anuma talked about is being prepared for your journey because certain areas you'll be exploring in the game might be too difficult, might be too hard, so you have to kind of keep worrying about how that's going to play out.
Now, we're to assume that this fits somewhere in the Legend of Zelda timeline?
Yes, Mr. Arnuma did say this does fit in the timeline, but we have no information about that yet, exactly where it falls.
That crazy plate of spaghetti.
Yeah, yes. It's all worked out somehow, but all these pieces do together. So this does, everything you know Mr. Arnuma does has always fallen somewhere in the timeline.
Yes. So
Question
now,
where.
we do learn later on in this demo that Ganon, in some form, does exist in this world.
Calamity Ganon.
Calamity Ganon, which is sort of lost smoke monster-esque.
Yes, we get to the Resurrection Town a little bit. We'll see that effect. But yeah, that's something you discover because first you can just talk to that guy right down there, the old man.
Which I really love because as a guy who grew up playing the original Legend of Zelda, to the point where my mom was like, "Please turn that down." So all we heard was the theme song out of my living room. There was a couple of there was that old man character you found in dungeons. You found him like.
The guy who gives you the sword.
Yeah, he gives you a sword. He's
game.
the first guy, which is incredibly irresponsible of a man to do, but still. And here we have him again, and you kind of return the favor by rolling up and stealing his food.
Yeah, you do roll up here, and you take his baked apple right now, which Link has just done, and he actually does not exactly appreciate you just taking something from him.
Okay, now I have two theories here, and you can either confirm or deny or just wave and smile. Is this a character is this the king from the Wind Waker? No comment. Is this a previous Link from an old game who is now 100 years old because time is crazy in Hyrule Town? Smile and no comment again.
Smile and nod.
All right, whatever. I'm planting those seeds. Those are my beliefs. So let me know what you think.
I'm sure there'll be lots of people making speculation of what it's going to be, and that's good. I also enjoy that build-up that people have, speculating, going through the game, trying to debate who is this person really. Should you even trust him?
Yeah,
it's like there's no reason this guy's just here. Like why? Should he help you, not help you?
Yeah, we're here to automatically assume he's a good dude, but I mean he could be out to just send you over in Calamity Ganon's smoke mouth.
Yes,
that weird floating pig monster. So one of the things I really like about this game is that there are ruins everywhere, which sort of implies that there was a civilization here of some sorts. But are we to understand that there will eventually be towns and areas populated?
Yes. Mr. Arnuma did talk about that. That yes, what we're seeing right now here is basically less than 2% of the what we're on the plateau we're on to start the game. Less than 2% of the entire game.
Wow.
There's over 100 Shrines of Trials. It's a massive world. There will be stuff populated around the world, towns and whatnot, NPCs, but we haven't talked about those yet.
Sure.
That's got to come out later on as we get eventually to the release in 2017.
Are they human-esque? No comment.
No
again.
comment. Well, so far you've seen one human-esque character
That's
so far.
true.
And actually two. There's the old man and the bokoblins.
Yeah. Are we calling them human-esque?
Really? Kind of. I don't. Well, maybe.
You haven't seen a lot of people.
I'm here at E3. You never know what you see here at E3 with a lot of different kind of characters.
It's true. But I really do like that sort of like ravaged civilization look that a lot of this game has. And there's this sort of inherent kind of loneliness to this game. And I mean that in the most positive way of like you have this lone adventurer in this kind of desolate world, and he's out there. There's a lot of survival elements. You don't really seem like you get a ton of help from people. Like, you're freezing, you're cold, you're hungry, you're
that's you have to constantly be foraging. That's why you stealing the old man's baked apple. Since there is no cutting of grass to get hearts anymore in this one, it is more about that foraging concept and what you can gather and grab. Oh, as you can see, there we are cutting some grass. Nothing.
You can, but you don't. Like we saw in the demo, you don't see rupees popping out like crazy.
No. And that still hasn't been discovered yet. I know people were asking what kind of currencies in the game, and that hasn't been shown yet either. We're still right now here just on the grand
I think you just keep stealing that dude's apples.
Yes, you can keep more apple, or you can go to you can climb the trees as well. There's that whole climb mechanic now where you can now jump, which is a big thing to the Zelda series, which has not been done before.
Yeah, which is like it's so fascinating. We got to a point in video game history where someone's like, you can jump now, and we're all like, yeah.
And it's important. And right here, Link is now using the Sheikah Slate to mark a point on the map. So now, by looking up, you'll be able to easily go to where you want to follow where you want to go to.
Now, this is the kind of game you can pretty much play. I mean, it's so open world to the point where you see something in the distance and you can run to it and climb it.
Yes.
So will this inspire multiple playthroughs or different types of playthroughs? Are there ways to finish this game faster by completely skipping entire sections?
I'm sure people are going to try to figure out ways to do it. I mean, I said there's over 100 Shrines of Trials. The 4 shrines you have here in this demo are ways that you get certain runes. But then with over 100, that means, well, some shrines might not have any use to you, might just be a cool treasure. We don't know yet, so we have to kind of figure out what that's going to be exactly. And I'm sure speedrunners are going to try to figure out which ones you really have to go to finish the game. I'm sure that's going to be that whole meta that people start going into, trying to find different ways to play it.
Because you never really know the importance of a shrine until you're inside it, basically, right? It reminds me a lot of Ocarina of Time had the marks in the ground. Your rumble pack would go off, you'd blow it up, and you'd go down there. And some of them were a treasure chest with just a little thing. Some of them had like a skulltula, and some of them got a little more crazier than that. So I guess my question is, what sort of scale do these shrines vary on? I mean, some of them are very small, but do any of them get like sort of to Zelda dungeon temple-esque size?
So yeah, so the over 100 Shrines of Trials, they will vary in size, big and small. Some will have only one solution. Some could have multiple solutions. And then at the same time, there also, Mr. Numa did talk that there will be formal dungeons.
Yeah.
Separate from the shrines.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he did say there will be separate. We have no details on what those dungeons will exactly be, but he did say they do exist, and they are different than the Shrines of Trials.
Awesome, because I think a lot of people got worried when they heard about the shrines because they thought it's like 100's a big number, but having 100 small things is sometimes not as great as having like 10 or 12 pretty big ones as well. But it sounds like we're going to get both, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's why they're still working on the game.
Yep. Now, there's a lot of like sort of history in this world that it seems like you're kind of bringing back to life. Like you're lighting things up again, and you're starting
right here,
to
like right now. Yeah, like right here, right now, you're bringing up the resurrection tower.
Yeah.
One resurrection tower right here. You bring up a resurrection tower, and you're going to see right now this one tower that you're sitting on is going up. What you're going to notice right now is that other towers will be appearing over this whole land.
Sure.
So right here's on the plateau that you're on. Here's one resurrection tower. And then now there's one in this area. Now you have to figure out how you're going to get there.
And so what is the sort of narrative benefit of lighting up these towers?
So you usually can mark them as points so you can actually fast travel.
Oh, cool.
So even when you're going around to the Shrines of Trials as well, even if you don't think you can go in to complete the shrine, you should still unlock it, because then you can mark it and come back to it at a later point when you can actually unlock that, or maybe you need certain skills or a certain weapon, you don't know. But at least once it's marked, you can fast travel to it without having to trek all the way back to it. But sometimes it's actually at the same time, I've had a lot of fun just doing the trekking, because you never know. I've literally watched people play the demo. I've played a lot of it. and I'm watching people play now in the booth, I'm like, oh, how did that person? I'm seeing things I haven't quite discovered myself.
So I played this game yesterday. I played both sides of the demo, which are 2 20-minute chunks, and a bunch of us here at IGN did as well. And that's been the really fascinating thing, is coming back and talking to everybody and realizing that every single person has experienced just this small portion of the game in a different way. And it makes the wait for this game next year incredibly difficult because I know that not only, like when I come to E3, I play a demo, usually I see the whole thing, but I haven't seen even a fraction of this.
Right.
And I have to wait so long to see the rest.
That's fine, but it's good. It's like a present. You have to kind of slowly wait, get the build up for it. It makes you appreciate it even that much more.
Yeah, but no, okay.
Usually like Christmas. No, Christmas. You have to wait till Christmas to get your present for Christmas. You can't just get it early unless you sneak in and find it in your parents' closet.
The difference is I know exactly when Christmas is.
That's true. It's 2017. That's true.
When is Breath of the Wild Christmas?
Sometime in 2017.
See? No one ever says Christmas is sometime in 2017. They go, it's December 25th. I know exactly when I'm opening my present. It makes it easier to swallow. So here we got this.
This is Calamity Ganon at the castle. Yes.
So he's in this right here. He's obviously taken this form. Sort of led to believe that it looks like he will be able to take several forms, which I think has been sort of historically true for Ganon at least.
Yes, in the previous games he has had various forms, and we'll have to wait and discover what kind of forms Mr. Anuma's going to create for Ganon. If it's one, will it be multiple? We don't really know yet, so it's going to be kind of intriguing to see how that plays out. And what other new characters he might be introducing as well? Who knows?
What's his or her name? Christmas is so far away.
It's true.
But yeah, this is I could not stop thinking about this game last night because I feel like it's so different from anything that I've ever played from a Zelda game, and B, so different than pretty much anything else at E3. Side note, I ran right off of this tower.
Oh, you died?
It is not pretty.
There's actually multiple ways. If you pay attention right now, what Link is doing, you actually could walk around in a certain method, and actually all the little platforms actually go around and around. You can.
Yeah. So I rolled clearly off the top, and then I did this hard land, and just collapsed like I folded. It was very sad to see, and I felt really bad for this guy because he had just woken up in the world, put on his first pair of clothes, climbed up the tower, and then just
dropped into the bottom.
Yeah. But this is a harsh world.
Yes.
And I think that's something that really we need to kind of depict here is that so much in this world will destroy you. Your weapons degrade.
Yes, the durability.
Your health it's not as simple as just finding hearts anymore.
Correct. You have to actually be prepared for your journey, debate which weapons you want to use, which I actually also personally like for myself is that a lot of times I know when I play certain games, you get a weapon. Oh, this is the best weapon. I'm never going to use another one again.
Right.
Now you're like, well, here's this one. Well, it's gone. Here's one. And it now forces you to better experiment because all the weapons have little different movements and how they apply.
Now, can you ever get to the point where you can fortify a weapon, sort of like to permanence?
We're not sure yet, so that's what we're waiting to find out. So I know people are asking about that.
Because I don't want to be in a boss fight and everything breaks and I'm stuck in a room and I'm like, well, this guy's got to kill me now. Although maybe that's part of the challenge. I mean, I guess it remains to be seen. I think I'm so used to, in Zelda games, being like, I got my trusty sword, I get to hold on to it forever. But with that sword breaking, which it did for me in this demo, it gave me an excuse to start trying different weapons.
Which normally you might not do.
Yeah, which normally you might not do. A lot of people, it gets you out of your comfort zone, right? And I was having combat scenarios. Side note, the bow and arrow is awesome.
Did you get a chance to jump off something and use it?
Yeah.
That slow motion time?
It feels so great when there's an enemy running at you. You kind of pull back. You kick in that little bit of motion control, which was very subtle on the Wii U gamepad, which I absolutely love using.
It's like Splatoon. Splatoon has that similar subtlety.
That if you've been playing Nintendo games for a while now on the Wii U, you're probably used to motion controls like that. Wind Waker had some of it as well. I really love that. So I was using a combination between that and then beating up enemies. They would drop an item, and I'd pick it up, and I'd use it to knock down the next enemy, who would then drop an item, and I'd pick that up, which is a very different flow of combat than pretty much any other Zelda game ever made.
Yes, it's a very different flow that goes on in there, and then even how those elements play. Like at one point, we were fighting you're fighting a Bokoblins and an encampment that have spears. One of the Bokoblins actually ran to the fire, lit his spear on fire, and then came with a flaming spear. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, and it's something you've never really seen before, and you can take that spear from him and beat up his friend in front of him.
And that's true. Yeah, when you're fighting combat, so often when you're fighting, especially enemies that are more powerful, sometimes you'll start fighting them. They'll drop their sword, and what's smart to do is like run up and pick it up. Now that enemy has to go grab a rock now. He has nothing else to fight with. Which
kind of comes to my next question. Is Link a menace in this game? Because he shows up, He's pushing boulders down hills. He's stealing apples from old men. He's chopping down trees and burning foliage. He's running up on the bad guys and just straight up stealing their steak. Like they're at a barbecue party, they're dancing in front of it, and he's like, no, that's mine.
Well, he's hungry. He's foraging. You have to survive.
But this guy just woke up from like a 100-year slumber. I know he's hungry, but he's like really just messing with everybody.
Well, it's similar to the previous games too. Like you get to walk into people's houses and just break all the pots.
I know, and that was like that was a fraction of how menacing he is in this game to the general public. I think he's the bad guy. That's my theory.
No, and I'm sure from people's perspectives, you could argue that he is the bad guy.
It's true. It's true.
But no, he's the hero. Come on. Link has always been the great hero.
Which is really cool, and I think it's like what's going to be fascinating about this is sort of like finding out what this hero's journey is. Because right now, like, what is the conflict? Do we know?
The only conflict you know of right now is that you've been asked to wake up from this 100-year slumber. You see Calamity Ganon, and you need to help keep him imprisoned. That's basically it. That's all we've seen so far in the demo.
There hasn't really been any like rescue the princess or like collect the 7 stones or the 3.
Nothing of that so far.
Nothing of that so far.
That's all you've seen so far. Is that there's just that really cool looking effect, in my opinion, that smoky Ganon out there, Calamity Ganon.
Which is good though, because when you don't have that much conflict yet, it gives you plenty of time to be an absolute menace to the rest of the world. Now here we're seeing one of the shrines, which is a little more sort of drawn out and bigger than some of the smaller ones in the game.
Yeah.
This feels more dungeon-esque.
It can,
like it's actually got a distinct item that you pick up in it.
Correct, and the four shrines we have in the demo right now do give you a different rune. This one being you learn Magnesis, which is the ability to move objects that have have some kind of magnetic properties to them.
And we do learn right there that his Sheikah Stone has a waterproof case on it.
Well, again, is it water? We had that discussion before. We don't
even know if it's water. I love this. This is my favorite part of this time in the Zelda cycle, because it's so much speculation, so much joy, and it basically gets crazy.
Yes.
It gets crazy just how much thinking we do. So now we've got this new item, which is, we've never really seen anything like this in Zelda.
This is new, and what's even fun, I know you can move objects here right now. As you can move it up and down, you can create bridges out of them.
Yep.
There's actually an arrow. We actually showed yesterday here, the fire and ice arrow was on this treasure chest. You had to get a plank and move it there and make a bridge to get over to it without falling off.
Right, which is another thing I'm hearing from people at this E3 demo. They're like, did you get the fire wand? I'm like, what?
The fire rod, yeah.
I'm like, that's in there too?
There's a fire rod in there. If you're in that, if you head westward from the beginning of this demo, you'll walk by a rock monster called Steptalis, and then you'll eventually get to the fire rod.
Now, I've been a fan of Zelda my whole life, as I said earlier. One of my favorite things about Zelda was always the concept art surrounding the original. Those beautiful watercolor paintings. And it feels like that's actually become a part of the design element of this game.
This one particularly, this one has a very artistic feel to it, very much based on Japanese animation from the past, gouache animation style. And a lot of based on, I believe, an open air type of painting where you actually look at a scene and try to capture that moment in a French art style, and capture that moment in a painting, and that's kind of what this is trying to attract, which fits perfectly in this world of being such an open place to explore. And here you have to get different puzzle items. Like right there, Link used a metal box to defeat an enemy by putting over its head, just dropping it on its head. Now we're getting this extra treasure chest that's on the side.
And now these are the kind of things where you can go into this shrine, get this item, go out into the big world, and start interacting with stuff that you couldn't get originally.
Correct, and that's you don't know.
So there will be people who play this game and maybe even finish it without finding tons of stuff in it.
Possibly, yeah. And again, that's what Mr. Anoma's talked about, is that there is not, everyone can have their own path to go through the game. There's no one set way to do it.
So now what are we looking at here?
So this is the end of the shrine, and you're actually meeting this monk. And the name of the monk actually is the same name as the shrine of trial you walked into for this particular shrine right here. And that you're basically proving that you are worthy of this shrine. And that's why this monk is congratulating you and rewarding you with a spirit orb.
Which does what? We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. And no, Link doesn't know either yet at this point. Link is still trying to understand what that's going to be.
Which I think is just really cool about this game is that sense of wonder and discovery that the player is having. It feels like Link is kind of going through the same thing. He's waking up sort of bewildered in this world and figuring it out as it goes, and so are you. Yeah.
So trying to figure out what to do, and that's part of that. I know everyone's going to be having a wonderful time trying to discover those elements of the story. And again, and even what kind of side things can be discovered when you go off the beaten path, and what can you find, and how that's all going to apply to everything. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Daniel, thank you so much for coming by.
Much.
I try to get as many answers as possible, but this game is full of secrets, and we're just going to have to wait for whatever fake Christmas is next year.
Yes, sometime Christmas in 2017.
We'll be streaming games all week long right here on IGN, so you're already in the right place. E3 2016, the best place in the universe. Thanks for watching.